I get so much build inspo from other people. Sometimes I doom scroll on Pinterest just to feel something in my brain's right hemisphere. Why did I write that? As part of these Pinterest escapades, I often see a bunch of amazing concept art pop up on my feed, and one of them in particular really caught my eye. This gorgeous palace structure, vibrant with lush gardens and bold deep blue decor. It evoked a sense of beauty and royalty from a civilization that held the art to a high honor. I would go on to find that the artist was at Osiris on Tumblr, because of course the copy on Pinterest was reposted without credit. It led me to a particular thought. This would be an amazing reference for a Minecraft build. And then that led me to another thought. Why don't we see more builds like this? You see, most Minecraft builds out there go with the medieval style. And like most things in life, it gets to a point. This is not a call out to anyone at all. I mean, I do the same. I often build in medieval European as well. Like, that's just the pot calling the kettle. No, wait, no. That kettle polling the kettle polling. They can't vote, they're kettles. And it's not really anyone's fault. When you look at Minecraft's textures, they naturally lend themselves to the medieval European aesthetic. But this illustration inspired me to think outside the box. And in this video, we are doing just that. Building a froglight farm that challenges my comfort zone. And hopefully, it challenges yours as well. Hello everyone, my name is Laurielings and welcome to my forever world, Minecraft Museum. As with almost all the builds I do on this channel, this project is also going to double as a farm. And what better farm than a froglight farm? The frogs get a dedicated building while the sheep stay in the cave, because that's how Lauri society works. The first step to this is to get on the Nether roof, because I feel like that will be very beneficial to transport the frogs easier. Because my Nether highway currently looks like this. May I interest you in the long corridor of doom and despair? So I got to work, breaching the Nether roof with a piston, obsidian, and a piece of TNT. What a beautiful synergy these three blocks have, like a trifecta of game exploits. I also learned my lesson from last episode and finally decided to invest in an ender chest, so I could at least have my cloud storage of obsidian in case I mess this up. I completely forgot the trapdoors. I am very glad I built a portal. Foreshadowing is a literary device. Remember that, everyone. I eventually broke through the bedrock, and with access to the Nether roof, I think it's time I explain to you all what I'm doing and where I'm going. You see, I want to merge the aesthetics of desert architecture and solarpunk. I think that the greenery and technology of solarpunk will really give a pop of color to the otherwise sandy desert style. And there's problem number one. To build in a different style, you really do need to find a different setting for it. A change of scenery, if you will. And as for me, I do have a vision for what I want to make, and I need to find a basalt delta whose overworld counterpart is a desert and preferably near an ocean. Can we move to the next voiceover so I can explain it? For a froglight farm to work, I needed to be in a basalt delta, as that's the nether biome where magma cubes spawn most often. But I also want to make sure that in the overworld, I am in a desert near a body of water to fit my world's lore and adhere to civilization standards. Sorry, what did I write in the script? So I ran westward because I knew there was a desert in that general direction. All I could hope was that this portal got me there. This is nice. This is very nice. Me when I find the perfect font, and after scrolling for 5 minutes, I give up and use Nue Has Grotesque. But it wasn't over. I wanted to put the portal in the correct spot, so it needed a little recalibration. Where in the world did I end up? Oh, I'm across the river. I see. That's not... Okay, hold on. Wait. If I go in here... What the heck? After fixing up the portals from the nether roof to the desert, it was finally time to work on the farm itself. Froglight farms are a lot easier than the usual Minecraft farms. I love a good farm where it's just a spawning platform because it adds one more year to my lifespan. There's barely any redstone involved, so this was a super easy build. That is until... Oh, I need the frogs. I need frogs. Everyone, drop everything. Gods, send in the frog! It's time to absolutely frog it. I think I should say something else. I want all variants of froglights to work with, which means I would need to get one of each frog variant, which are obtained by birthing frogs in the warm, temperate, and cold biomes. Okay, the word birthing is a little intense. I would first have to breed a few frogs in this nearby mangrove swamp, which I actually discovered all the way back in episode 2. What a throwback. Hashtag throwback Thursday. Okay, it might not be Thursday where you are. This gets me the warm frog variant. But to get all the colors of the frog rainbow, I would need the other cavaliers. To get those frog variants, I had to wait for the frogs to hatch first. So I started doom scrolling to pass the time.
I'm the CEO of video games. I am so fortunate.
Got transgender. See, you know when someone is technological.
Oh god, wait, hold on, wait, they hatched. Now with access to the nether roof and the experience of nether math, I can create a portal to a very specific part of my world. This portal I've created should land me here. Aha, perfecto. This mountain solves all of my frog problems. My frog limbs. This mountain has a cherry grove where I can get the temperate variant, and there's this patch of snow which counts as a cold biome for the cold variant. Where is this amazing magic mountain located, you may ask? Well, it's a short hike from my starter base. It's been here the whole time. What a beautiful gift nature is to our world. Truly, all we need to do is live, laugh, love, and la boo boo. 20 minutes? Alright, more doom scrolling for me. Oh god, oh wait, they hatched. Oh god, my phone, oh gosh, hold on. After transporting the frogs back to the farm, I locked them in the pit where they can mukbang on magma cubes all they want. I continued building the rest of the farm, installing the iron golem, the walls, and the spawn proofing. Oh, it's all coming together so nicely. But if you know me, you know that I'm never satisfied. Like that woman from Hamilton. A toast to the groom, to the groom, to the groom, to the groom, to the bride, to the bride, to the bride, to the bride from your sister. You can see that below me, the farm is working perfectly. But now, we have to work on covering all this. Actually, I lied. We aren't covering this up. I have plans. Capital P. Plans. Call me Petra Parker the way I Petra the Parker. What? What we will be mainly working on aesthetics-wise is actually on the overworld side. Whoa. There we go. I have a general idea of what kind of build this is going to be, but I think this is still gonna be pretty challenging. And I think it's best if I just show you. This is awkward. Hold on, wait. I feel like I'm playing Resident Evil. Hold on. Wait. No, wait, hold on. I got this. Huh? Did it work? Did it work? Did it transition to the next clip? Yes, it did. Passed me. Thank you so much. Alright. Here we are on a creative flat world. As I said before, my main prompts here are desert and a little bit of solarpunk. But when initially trying to conceptualize what I could build, I honestly got kind of stuck. Also, don't mind the giant bell in the distance. So here's some of the initial plans that I had. I first have this brown, muddy sort of thing. The way I like to conceptualize is kind of like thumbnailing. So this is just a small sort of sample of some of the ideas I wanted. I knew I wanted a lot of technology. That's sort of the purpose of solarpunk. It is, you know, technology married with nature. And so I wanted a lot of these like little modules here and there. You will also see that I have this glazed terracotta pattern, which I did roll for the final design, but this was not it. I don't really know what was happening here. And especially I don't know what was happening here. Good God. You could not have me answer what this was supposed to be. I actually don't know. I may have blacked out. But what this build did do is it made me realize I should probably build this pretty colorful. The thing is, with this yellowish white that sandstone has and like birch and all that, it's gonna blend into the desert. It might not even be seen. And though it would fit in a desert, this is a bazaar. It's meant to be a third space for a bunch of people to just hang out as well. This is the third design. It is a long rectangle, but where this design really shined is with this wall. I really like the color of pink terracotta mixed with the cinnabar, brick, and mud brick because it kind of feels like the paint is tearing off. Oh, I love the texture on that. And also just the color palette, the pink mixed with this yellow and the sort of teal and cyan highlights would look absolutely perfect. I went with this as the final color palette, and you will see soon exactly what I mean. But despite all of these attempts, none of them really stuck with me. It just didn't feel right. There was something about it that felt stereotypical in a way, and I did not want to be that, alright? And it's hard. It's part of the reason why we don't really want to explore outside of our comfort zones. But if there's anything I learned from Minecraft building, sometimes you just gotta research. I went searching. I had to ask myself, where could I get a good reference for my vision? And I thought it was impossible until I found it. Baghdad, Iran, and the architecture of the Islamic world. I will now present my findings to you like an excited, nerdy scientist. In my research, I found that Islamic architecture really shaped itself around its environment. It loves its arches, courtyards, and open areas that allow natural light and air circulation to cool buildings, especially in the summer heat. One of the most beautiful parts of Islamic architecture that I really want to include in my build is their adherence to geometry and patterns. It was because in Islam, idolatry in art is strictly prohibited, prompting artists to explore mathematical patterns and beautiful geometric ornaments instead. And honestly, it makes total sense. The father of algebra was of Arabic and Persian descent. Did you know that? You learn something new every video here on the Laurielings channel. Yeah. With all these core aspects in mind, it became so much easier to build. I was on a roll from there, full on flow state. And I think you'll all really like the design that I have in store for all of you. But what I don't like is I now need a full double chest of just straight terracotta. Why do I do this to myself? Why, Yoda? The main block I need is terracotta. So I went over to this mining mesa that I have and went digging away. The pink dye is pretty easy. I should have a ton of red dye by getting the poppies from the iron farm. And you being lazy and not making the composter system was worth it. I would also need a ton of sandstone and birch, as that's my secondary primary color. Wait, no, what? No. And for the accent color, I need a bit of warped wood, and luckily I have some leftovers from the iron farm. Lastly, I would just need a wide assortment of decorative blocks, as this build is going to be very detailed. I did a big chunk of this material gathering over on the purple side, So if you want to come hang out, you can find me over at twitch.tv/Laurielings_. Oh my gosh, underscores. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh. It's not that bad. Am I crazy? It's not that bad. It really isn't. Here's the thing. Now for the final touch, I do need a bunch of these frog lights for the farm. And actually, let me just 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah. Call me Rooster Teeth the way I achievement hunt. That's, no one's gonna get that. Can I rewrite that joke? I don't think anyone's gonna get it. So to begin, I want to talk about the process of how I build. Because when I build in creative, I like to figure out all of the details first in a small sample of the build. This is because I build in a very modular way. I see buildings in multiple separate parts, if that makes sense. So if I do one part of the build, I can trust my brain to figure out how the rest of the build would look from there. So this archway sort of became the blueprint for the entire build. All the little ideas and all the arches and all the repetition, I basically just had to apply it to the rest of the build. Does that make sense? I hope my process makes sense. One of the major things that really shaped the build was this ceiling pattern, because Islamic architecture really loves its geometry and I really wanted to honor that here. And apart from geometry, Islamic architecture also loves its symmetry, which means I can mirror the build and it's like less work for me, like less brain power. I just have to flip it. That was me flipping. You can see I already started with the back, which is basically just the front flipped. But it does look a little awkward without the walls, so why don't we work on those? I went ahead and did the walls. I gave it this texture gradient to simulate some level of decay, as if the pink paint had peeled off in some places. For the floor, I went with a tiled approach. I gave the main walkway this pattern using glazed terracotta, which became a perfect building block for this area. And for this interior, I gave it this high ceiling design, packed to the brim with the foliage and detail. So even though this looks really complicated, it's actually just the same pattern repeated over and over. Sometimes I'll have to modify it because this is a little bit wider, but it's pretty much the exact same pattern. And check out this flooring, look at all these tiles. Oh, I use glazed terracotta so much in this build, but it's very much warranted. Look at all these cool patterns. These sort of inward areas, I do think that these are like more of the vendor stalls. But I want to keep this hallway open to the sky. It's just sort of fulfilling more of the solarpunk theme that we have going on. And also, that's how courtyards work. The sky's open, and so the wind goes in, and then there's the fountain that can go. It's all science. It's all down to a science. And speaking of that roof deck, that is the final part that we have to build here. Because, yeah, we got this sort of main interior, but now we have to address the very, very big elephant in the room. So let's do that, shall we? I decided to utilize a space in between to build some stairs and corridors to the roof. The upper part of this build is where the solarpunk really gets to shine. I made the roof deck a green space and put a bunch of tech decorations, like this solar panel, this radio tower, and these windmills. It was really fun to try and merge the desert aesthetic with this much more lush and vibrant vibe that solarpunk brings. Finally, after all of that work, the Bazaar of Light is open for business. It is looking absolutely beautiful, but before I show you the interior and the full finished build, there is a detail that I forgot to put in the build montage, which is this side balcony. It's a side balcony. Looks cool as hell. These are also pretty big staples of Muslim architecture, and I think it really helps just reduce the amount of rectangulation. That's not a word, I think. Maybe? Maybe not. Maybe I've invented a word. Have we ever thought of that? Wordle aside, let's enter the actual bazaar. Look at this place. I really love all the little details. This is like probably one of my most detailed builds yet. Actually, it's not even like detailed yet. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm making sense. My point is that this is just the main structure. Look at all the details of the main structure. There are still little things here and there that I could probably add. And because I've been able to visualize the space now that it's built, I really want a trading hall here. But I will hold off to making a trading hall for now because I really want to wait for the wool slabs and stairs and cushions. I think that's gonna look so cool once we get that. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Let me sit down. And while we're familiar with this interior, let us go up to the roof deck. Actually, let me turn off my full bright. I can get a good moody view. It's a bit of a tight squeeze to fit all of this, staircase in, but once we get up here, look at this place. Oh, it's so cool. The theme being solar punk, obviously, we have to have a bunch of foliage, a bunch of technology, and the marriage of those two concepts. One of my favorite things in particular are these little robot helpers. Look at them. They're pulling carts, they're fixing wires. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Technician. It is one of the littlest details, but it is so cute. Especially this one carrying a composter. I really love this one. I do imagine them as robot helpers that provide, basic human necessities like food, water, electricity, and shelter to the vendors below so that they can live out their lives in insurance. Because that's how Lori society works. The robots handle the dangerous and strenuous jobs, and the humans are able to be creative and be artisans. Now that's Lori society. But I digress. At the end of the day, this is a froglight farm, and there is something that I really need to ask of all of you. If I'm being honest, I don't really know what I want to do with this place. I've opted out of covering the farm here for now because this is a pretty big area. This is the nether roof after all, and whatever I do here sort of sets a precedent for the rest of the nether roof. As you can see, this episode has sort of opened up my own nether highway up here, and I want to do it right. And that's where all of you come in. Feel free to leave any comments and suggestions on what I can do for the nether roof because, I have no museum builds for this place. Hi, Editor Lori here. I'm well aware that the purpose of the build was to cover the farm. I made that video. And in this scenario, I didn't technically cover it. Does that make me a fraud? Well, let me ask you this. Does the Cyclops struck with guilt when he kills us up in the middle of the night? But that will be a project for a different episode and one that will not come for a long time. Meanwhile, I finally have my froglights. Let there be light. I don't have to farm shroom lights anymore. I now have a farmable light block. Everything is fan-freaking-tastic. But I think more importantly, this build shows us that beauty and inspiration can be found anywhere. All it takes is a little bit of effort to research and look into the culture. And in doing so, you'll be rewarded with a refreshing take on life. This is how I don't get bored of Minecraft. And I hope this inspires you too. Hey, Future Lori here. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you did, I hope you like and maybe even subscribe. It helps me a lot to keep continuing on and making these videos, so all the support is very much appreciated. I hope you all enjoyed that trilogy of farm making because I am excited to finally not make a farm. I'm so tired. We're also coming up to half a year in this forever world. I do have plans for a 1-year anniversary thing, though they may change. We'll see what happens from there, but yeah. Happy half anniversary. Anyway, here's my full audition to become a vocal sample for underscores. Maybe wanna, yeah, yeah, yeah. Or maybe something more percussive. Maybe it's chicka-cha, chicka-cha. Okay, wait. One more. How about a